Easel cards are easy to make and a delight to receive. If you want to learn how to make them, keep watching and I'll show you all I know. Hi, this is Sage Kimball and I'm the Mad Stamper with another technique video for card makers and paper crafters. Here are 3 easel cards I've made recently with items from the Peaceful Poppies suite. I really like how they stand up on their own, and your recipients will love to display them. They fold up nice and flat so they're easy to mail. The first one is a 5.5-inch square card. But since most people like to avoid squares because of the extra postage, I also made 2 samples in our usual 4.25 by 5.5 inch size. This one is in the landscape mode with the long side on the bottom. And this one is in the portrait mode with the short side on the bottom. I'll give you measurements for cutting and scoring all 3 card bases in a downloadable PDF. I've already designed the pieces for a new 4.25 by 5.5 inch Valentine in landscape mode. There are 3 components to an easel card. First is the card front, which in this case is 4.25 by 5.5 inches. Second is the card base, which needs to be as wide as the card front and twice the length of it. For this card, I've cut the base 5.5 by 8.5 inches. If I were doing the card in portrait mode, it would be 4.25 by 11 inches. You don't need to write down any measurements, as I've made templates for you to download. In order to fit them all on one piece of paper, the drawings are half the size of the actual cards. The third component is what I call the stop, which will hold the easel in an open position. Like this. The first step is to score the card base at 1/4 of the length and then at 1/2 of the length. For this card, I'll score at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. I'm using Stampin' Up's Simply Scored tool because I really like how easy it is, but you can use the scoring blade on your paper trimmer if you prefer. Now I fold along those score lines and crease them with a bone folder. I make Mountain Valley folds on this end of the cardstock. Next, I'll adhere the card front to the folded end of the base. I've already added some snail to the top panel of the base. It's really important to line up the edges together, otherwise the easel will be crooked. It's important to put the adhesive on the base instead of the card front, otherwise you can end up with adhesive where it shouldn't be. Now I'll add the stop, which will hold the easel in the open position. I like to make the stops simple so they don't detract from the focal point on the card front. The stamped layer of this stop is 1 1/4 by 5 1/4, and the mat is 1 1/2 by 5 1/2. These measurements are not on the template, and that's because you can experiment with what you want to use for a stop on your card. It can be a strip, as in these samples, or a die cut that complements the card front. I've already added dimensionals to the back of this stop, and now I can position it on the card base. Once again, it's really important to get the stop lined up with the edges of the card base. Otherwise, the easel will be a little crooked. I've already added dimensionals to the back of the hearts and the sentiment, and I can add it to the front of the card now. With a dark card base like this, I like to add a small piece of lighter cardstock inside for a short greeting and signature. If your easel doesn't want to stand up and kind of flops around, just go over this crease some more, and that should help. So that's all there is to it. I hope you'll have fun making some easel cards in your craft room. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, share it with your friends, and leave me a comment. For more inspiration and instructions, be sure to sign up for my newsletter at www.stampingmadly.com. Visit me on Facebook and Pinterest, and don't miss another great video. Subscribe to the Mad Stamper YouTube channel now.